Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm talking thought control. What should you be thinking when you hit a golf ball? When I advertise the courses that I do at my golf club, the one that has the least number of people arriving at it is the mental course. I think it's almost kind of written into amateur mentality that they are not mental and do not need a mental course. On the other hand, if you write they're going to do a driver course, then it's booked out within seconds. This is one of the main mistakes that you're making. You have to get into your head that it is your head which is controlling your body, not the other way around. Every thought that is going through your mind when and before you're hitting a golf ball is going to influence the result. So I thought I would take the time to give you an idea of what you should be thinking exactly and when you should be thinking it. Now, we've spoken in a video a couple of weeks ago about think boxes, play boxes, and a system of taking you from your bag to the ball. I want to talk today about a hierarchy of thought that you want to be kind of practicing in order to get the best results out of your body. So basically the first thing is to understand when you hit a golf ball. I was talking about this kind of nonchalant intention. I want a relaxed, concentrated, but almost convinced that I'm going to hit a shot correctly. And that is really the most important thing. If I can convince myself of a golf shot success before I've even hit the golf ball, then there's a very good chance that it will be a success. And that is basically, if you were to think of the thought process as a pyramid, that is the pinnacle of the pyramid. This total conviction, total nonchalance about the result, that's what you've got to be thinking about when you hit a golf ball. If you're not, then something further down in the hierarchy, further down in the pyramid, is responsible for you not doing that. And the first place you want to be looking is what was actually going through your mind just before you hit the ball. Where did you want to hit it? How did you want to hit it? And were you thinking about anything else? If you were, what were you thinking about? Was it your playing partners? Was it the water? Was it the bunker? Was it the out of bounds? If you've been thinking about one of those, you've got to go a step deeper in the pyramid. So if you think about it, if I'm not getting a clear intention, I'm not feeling totally confident, there's a reason for that. So I go down to the next part of the pyramid, and the next part of the pyramid is basically the self-confidence that I'm bringing with me. Why don't you trust your swing? Now, a lot of you will be screaming because there's nothing to trust, because it does something different every time. I would say to you that you think something different every time, and that's why it does something different every time. If you were capable of going to the golf ball with exactly the same thoughts every time, you won't get exactly the same shot every time because you're a human being, but you will get very similar shots every time. That is probably the thing to look at. Is it my technique, or more certainly, is it what I'm thinking? Even if your technique's terrible, it will produce the same terrible shot every time if you think the same thing every time. And that's really what you want to be looking at. So what I will actually do, this kind of third level of my pyramid, that is where I am talking myself up. This is where I'm using affirmations to say I have a good swing. And if I don't have a good swing, I have a repetitive swing. And the reason I have a repetitive swing is because I do the same things every time. I show my body the same drills every time. And therefore I am convincing myself with every drill and every shot I take that this is getting the swing deeper and deeper and deeper into my unconscious or subconscious, and therefore I just have to learn to call this up. If I have made 100,000 practice swings, then I should be able to stand to a golf ball, believe in the outcome, and hit the ball at the target that I'm thinking of without having to worry about it. And that's really the base thing that you want to be looking at. Why are you worried about the shot? It's because you don't really believe that you're going to hit the shot correctly. So why don't you believe you're going to hit the shot correctly if you've done these hundreds and thousands of changes? That's when you go down to the bottom level of the pyramid, a thing that I would call self. Who are you, what are you, and why don't you trust yourself? In Freud's day, then, he would tell it's because of your parents. It's because of factors working on you, and it very well may be. However, I think for the majority of golfers, if you can just get a kind of a clear idea of what you're doing here and why you're here, you'll actually find out this is supposed to be a hobby. This is supposed to be your free time. And the reason that you're not feeling confident is because your expectations are far higher than they should be for something which you're only doing as a hobby. If you're not hitting golf balls every day, if you're not playing professional golf, you can't expect to have that kind of repetition, that kind of repeatable movement and that kind of success every day. You have to accept you're an amateur, and you are actually enjoying being an amateur because you have no pressure. But the fact is, you do have pressure, but you don't necessarily have pressure like you think you have pressure. The ball isn't pressuring you, the club isn't pressuring you, your playing partners aren't pressuring you, you are pressuring you, and you've got to find out why. And you've got to make a change at this bottom of the pyramid if you want the next bits in the pyramid to work, because one is responsible for the other. So you could basically say in your general self, your general beliefs, your general idea of what you are doing here in the first place is going to have a big influence over the next level. How confident you can be and how your confidence can increase with every shot that you hit. Without being confident about that, it's going to be very difficult to get a clear picture of what you want to do and think only of that, because your lack of confidence is going to keep telling you, but I could hit it right, I could hit it left, I topped it the last time. And that is going to stop you getting this clear intent. And finally, without this clear intent, it's going to be impossible to just do it. It's going to be impossible to believe it's going to happen, or even better, to believe it's happened already before you actually hit it. Try and look at your life in general and see if you can find similar situations. If you were to throw a ball in a bucket, how much would you think about it? When you go bowling and roll a ball down a lane, how much are you thinking about it? How much are you allowing your base belief that, hell, I never go bowling. This is the first time in a year. What do I expect from myself? Nothing. That's why my first bowl is a strike, because I don't care if it isn't. If I go bowling a lot, I've got to be careful then that my expectations don't grow disproportionately to the amount of bowling that I'm doing. And I believe that this is what's happening with an awful lot of you golfers out there. Your expectations are trumping your ability and your practice, and therefore you're starting to get down on yourself because you're simply expecting far more than you are capable of. And finally, it's just that ability to just not give a damn and say, really, as a hobby golfer, you've got to be happy that you are on a golf course and not behind a desk. Because as they always say, a bad day on a golf course is still better than a good day at work. As ever, if you liked it, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed to me, please do so. Don't forget to hit the notification button if you want to hear the next time that I post a video. Thank you again to all of my Patreons or patrons for supporting the channel. If you would like to become a patron, I'll leave a link to Patreon below where you can click and make a small monthly donation to keep me coming back here a little bit more often. If you're sick of the sight of me, don't do it. Otherwise, I will be back. See you then. Bye-bye.